90.3 Nigeria.
And yes, we're back. We're live on Facebook and we're also streaming live on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch on those two platforms. Let's start with The Punch, page 2 of The Punch, a newspaper. Jega, Utomi Group's others team up against APC PDP, unveil party October 1.
I mean, it sounds exciting, doesn't it? A new party is emerging, but if you read through the lines, you can see that there's a complete lack of preparedness on the part of these people. And the morning shows the day, if the way you're organizing your party in this manner, then what would happen if you do take over government, if it ever comes to pass? Because really, Nigerians, I think, are interested in which party takes over governance at the center come 2023. I'm sure most people cannot wait to be given the opportunity to, and that is why, again, I'm going to call on our people in the diaspora and those who headed to the United Nations to demonstrate and this and that. The action is here. The job in front of you, if you are actually sincere and you're not looking for photo ops or anything like that, the action is here. What action is it? Simple. The responsibility that a lot of us who claim to be members of civil groups and so on that we have is to begin to educate our people against 2023. Nobody in the United Nations is going to listen to you when you have an election coming and you have an opportunity to change. You want them to come down and change and shoot their way through? We have a golden opportunity in 2023. And believe you me, if we could produce a Buhari at the time of Jonathan, I don't see why we cannot produce another of our choice in 2023. But I'm not too happy about the way this has come. In less than 24 hours, we're having denials.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
We're having denials, which is untidy. And from the story I can read, find time, we can't read the story, of course, but find time to read the point. What you can see is an intent, but the action plan is not ready. God bless Obafemi Awolowo or wherever he's lying now. I will never forget. I wasn't an Awo supporter, though, ironically, in 79. I wasn't an Awolowo supporter. Rather, I was more inclined to supporting the, what do you call this other party, the MPN then, for just one reason. We were all rebels in school. Just one reason. We were more interested in a national outlook. But that's a story for another day. Yes, now we know better. But, he was the day the ban on politics was lifted, Awolowo came out with the name of his party. He came out with his party. He even had a band ready. He had the Awolowo something UPN Unity band. He had his manifesto. He was ready. And if you have the likes of Patutomi and all these big names that we are seeing, what I expect on October 1, which is not likely to happen, is a tidy arrangement. If the arrangement is not tidy, don't leak anything to the press. Nigerians want a big bang. They want a big bang. They are all looking forward to a group of persons who would come together and look credible and give this, especially the APC, a fight for them. We've been disappointed by both the APC and the PDP. We've seen that they are both subsidiaries of the same company. And that's why it's easy for them to crisscross, Of course, the latest one, I don't need to mention, has left a lot of us starry-eyed. But in the case of that one, I think it was more a federal government initiative than a party initiative. But there's still enough time to tidy up. For example, you mentioned Professor Adeniran's name, but he says that I have since retired from partisan politics. So how did his name crop up? So I'd like to ask this group, the formidable persons, the formidable names that have been mentioned here, to tidy up. I think what is happening in that particular group is that there is no central figure. In Nigeria, it's always about persons. If they had a central figure, maybe somebody who wants to run for presidency, and they've all kind of acquiesced to him that yes, it will be you. Maybe he'll be the one who can galvanize all of them into action. But let's see. October 1 is about how many days from now? For yesterday, we couldn't add 85. We couldn't subtract 85 from 2023. Today, now, I say October 1 is what day of the week? Kekere Damilo now.
October
what? Where were you?
Friday. See what I was watching. Friday.
My God. Oh my God. All right, let's go to the next one.
It was a great game. It was an amazing match.
Sherry is something else. When I grow up, I want to be like you.
At what age?
I believe in reincarnation now.
You do?
I do, yeah.
Is it real though?
I will come back to this earth.
Do you believe that thing?
I will come back to this earth. But this time I'll beg God, where my parents did the do and I'm born there, let me just stay there. I don't want any.
You now be your skin color will now change.
It doesn't have to change, but I'd rather
The same parents.
How can it be the same parents?
You said where your parents. You still asking
at that time. Oh yeah.
As a man or as a woman?
What kind of Bobrisky question is this? All right.
Let's go to the Punch. Page 4 of the Punch. Gunmen invade Abuja hotel, kill policeman in shootout, injure others.
Look at what I don't know who I was talking with the other day, and I said one of the reasons why I can't even leave my state to go like on a vacation somewhere, I can't stay in a hotel. Now hotels have suddenly become and
you always say that too.
I remember
we had that conversation.
Yes, apart from going to a hotel thinking that there could be cameras around and so on and so forth put in by the staff without the knowledge of the owner to upload to sites. Now hear this. Just hear this story. It says that gunmen attacked. It was a hotel called Hilltop International Premium Hotel at Gwagwalada. Okay, and armed men on Tuesday attacked the hotel. Okay, engaged police at the hotel in a gun battle and killed one of the policemen. And that 3 persons who lodged in the hotel were injured, while one of them was hit by a stray bullet. When I read this story this morning, I was shivering. The Punch correspondent had in June reported that gunmen abducted the former member. Okay. Now, a source told their correspondent that the armed men shot at the hotel doors to gain access. Gave way. They came around 11 p.m. There were many. We had closed for the day and locked everywhere. They shot at the doors and shot the person they abducted before taking him away, and so on and so forth. The story is in the Punch. Again, what I would just say is, look, unless you are compelled to, these times we're in call for a lot of wisdom. Unless you are compelled to, for now, avoid those places. And boys, where they go, all these time up areas, you better be careful. Go if you see. I mean, somebody's go. If you see, I've seen all kinds of videos. There was one I saw of a married man and a married woman. The man was saying that yes, but one meeting. What I was looking in front of it, didn't look at it. Look at where the woman had a ring on. That's how come I knew she was married. Yeah. So you all need to be careful. And that's also recently now we've had the EFCC badging into areas, looking for Yahoo boys and so on and so forth. This is the time to stay home, guys. And I hope all of you had a good time yesterday when Mrs. Fashanu was here. That woman was tough yesterday. Yeah. Very tough.
It was an interesting
I was
session.
Still thinking of the things she said up to 1 a.m.
It was an interesting session. It really was. Let's move away to page 7 of the Punch newspaper quickly now. Here we go now with this one here. When I saw this story yesterday, I was really saddened. I mean, I felt some type of way. Ogun Pensioners Ground Secretariat lockout SSG protesting 68 billion naira gratuity arrears.
This is just about 2 weeks after they had the lavish funeral. In spite of advice for COVID and other reasons, and for sensitivity, the governor has a right to bury his dad anyway. The whole state was shut down. But don't we look at our environment and look at the circumstances of our people? The question I always ask, for those who are in public space, every action you take, what is the message that you think you are sending down to the people? From the video clips that I got, Sonny Ade in attendance, It was a carnival of some sort. A lot to eat and a lot to drink. If the governor himself, as he was having that party, knew that he was owing pensioners, what message does he think he was sending to them? Leadership calls for sacrifice. Now look at this scenario. Ogu pensioners, there was confusion amongst workers when pensioners in the state shut down the state secretariat. These are elderly people.
Yeah.
The list of which will probably be 60. Now demonstrating and shutting down the secretariat. I wonder what scared the workers.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. You understand?
And most see, they must have been looking at their own future as well.
No, look at it. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Okay.
What did these pensioners want that they had to shut down the secretariat? Elderly people. 10-year outstanding gratuities.
Oh my goodness, come on.
10-year outstanding gratuities. And these were the same people who would have watched OGTV, seen the funeral and whatever going on. I
10
asked
years.
Dakwabiodun again today, when you were having that lavish funeral for your dad, what was on your mind? What was the message you were sending down to these pensioners who haven't been paid their gratuity for 10 years? I said leadership called. One of the things that bothers me is the mindset of our leaders. To repeat for the umpteenth time, all those, including this Ogun governor, all those who are taking selfies with the political leader, what is the, and putting them in the papers and on the social media, what is the message? That is something. But I remember once I called the attention of a top government official in the state to certain things that I think, need to be corrected in the governor's disposition, not in Ogun. I won't say which state, but your guess is as good as mine. And the answer I got very simply was that Egmo Ekinche, politician, you don't understand these things. So I let my case rest. The thinking within government and political circles is completely different from some of the rational things. What message? If I were a governor, there's no way I'd be having that kind of lavish funeral in these times. First of all, I'm going to consider the issue of COVID. Then I'm going to consider the issue of the people, the level of suffering of people around me. To say that, look, I'm going to make a sacrifice. And look, I remember, sorry that I'm getting personal, but I want people to know. I remember when my daughter was getting married, I invited only my personal friends. It was in the heat of an election. I could have had all the politicians come with very fat envelopes, but I said, no, on point of principle, this is a lifetime opportunity for me, and I'm not going to turn it into a money-making venture. Those are the principles that people should live by. Now, the pensioners, under the auspices of the Local Government Pensioners Association of Nigeria, blocked the two main gates. Elderly people in Okimoson, Abokuta, locked out prominent persons of the state, including the Secretary to the State Government, Tokunbo Talabi, and other civil servants for hours. Because what are you going to do to them? Are you going to tear gas them? I'd like to congratulate the state government for showing some restraint, because it doesn't say here that they were attacked. And the protesters, armed with placards with various inscriptions, such as gratuities are on sale to pensioners, Governor Dakwabiodun, honor your father and treat, I didn't even know this was coming up, honor your father and treat pensioners well. And Governor Abiodun, we don't deserve this worst humiliation amongst others. The people that were demonstrating in Ogun yesterday are people like you and I. If you are not at that age yet, you jolly well will be one day.
You would get there.
And this is a disgrace. It is pitiable that this is the way we treat people. Some of them are teachers. Some of them have put their lives on the line for the state. They put their and they've done this. This is how you pay them back. And they had the story says that Governor Abiodun, we don't deserve this worst humiliation amongst others. Addressing the newsmen during the protest, the state chairman of Lokpan, Sikiru Ayilara, accused Abiodun of failing to keep his promises to the pensioners, complaining that some of them still earned a paltry sum of 3,000 as monthly pension. Man's inhumanity to man. In this current dispensation, elderly people. And you say you want to tackle corruption. That is why every young person that has the opportunity now, I'm not saying it's right, but in a beg, borrow, steal situation, what would you say?
3,000.
That's what people now want to amass as much. You find civil servants 6 billion, 8 billion, 10 billion, 25 houses to save for the rainy day. Well, I hope God will touch the hearts of our political leaders, and to make life bearable for citizens as much as they can. But it calls for sacrifice. It calls for sacrifice.
I also think that from the beginning, from the start, when they come to us to, campaign, we should begin to ask questions such as this: what are your plans for the senior citizens?
They will always
what
have
are
one
your plans
sweet
for
but politicians,
pensions that have been owed for years.
Politicians, they would have gotten some university guy, whatever, in political science department for 100,000 to produce them a document. They keep brandishing that document at you. Okay? But where we fail in the first instance, when they come to campaign, you collect money from them.
Yeah.
At that point, there's no social contract anymore.
You have sold it.
You have sold your soul. What I expect our community leaders to do, when these people come with their soft drinks and bread, tell them to put it back. There's a video, it happened in Ghana. They went to some young people, gave them food. They said, we don't want food, give us jobs.
Bags of rice.
This is what I expect our people to do in 2023. And we should begin to isolate some of these people socially. We must show our resentment without violence. We must show our resentment. The pensioners should. If my rebel days are gone. If I was a pensioner, I was leading this group. This group would have showed up at his father's funeral. We'll wear the same Ankara. Then to say, this money you are spending here, please. This is what is happening to us. We should start inconveniencing them without violence, because we cannot continue to take this kind of situation. It cannot go on. It cannot. Elderly people who should be resting at home. A lot of our politicians, let me be honest with you, Sheriff, and I make bold to say it, a lot of them, they're wicked. Because apart from the fact that they don't give a hoot about you, most of them have this spirit of it's my turn, and if only Mama could see me now. Look at me, this is me, And that is not what leadership. God bless the late Obafemi Awolowo again. Awolowo was a man of means through his legal practice, but he didn't show off his wealth. He was a man of means, but he didn't show up his wealth. Shagari didn't even have any wealth to show off. Gawan
is still there.
At the end of his tenure, there is nothing. It is still surprising to me today that Gawan didn't have a house when he left government, because that was when Nigeria was making loads and loads and loads of money. Where are such leaders in Nigeria today? Where are they? We've got to fish them out. Why is it that this program now has now become like a sermon?
I don't know.
It's the stories that you pick.
Me, I pick stories. Me, I pick stories.
Yeah, I know I'm the one who picked them.
So why are you not saying it?
But your spirit goes into my body.
We're going to stay on the same page of the Punch because there's another interesting story here. Okay, let's take this one here. Why we suspended planned strike, Lagos nurses.
Yes, I'm going to thank the Lagos State government for averting a crisis, and especially I'm going to call out my good aburo Akimori Okwala, the head of service, who prevented the nurses strike. It would have been a complete disaster. So I'm going to thank him for that. I was going to say I would send him a bottle of wine, but more not funny. So I sent him a carton of water. But I'd like to thank him because the National Association of Lagos Nigerian Nurses and Midwives suspended a proposed strike yesterday after the meeting with Mori Okwala. And the secretary of the long thing, Toba Dumosu of the Nurses Union, in an interview, said the association decided to suspend the strike after the state government approved over 125 million for its demands for a central uniform allowance. The allowance is 25,000 naira per annum, and we're a little bit above 5,000. That is over 125. We met with the head of service, Akim Moriokola, and he confirmed the approval for the central payment. Akim, thank you very much for what you have done. God will always bless you. But going forward, things like this should not happen. Let's tidy up the way we do our things. If nurses are supposed to be paid an allowance, let's have a date for paying this once and for all. If it's once a year, put it in January, and that is it, over and done with. Please, let's. It's sad for one who reviews papers after waking up to a bright day. You see stories like this of things that could jolly well have been avoided. I'm tired of stories like this on a daily basis for close to 10 years. I'm almost running crazy. Things that are so simple, paying pensioners and not showing off. I don't understand it. But I'm glad this has been averted. We thank God for his mercies. So the nurses, wherever you are, your allowance is coming. But must we always strike? Must governments wait for us to strike? We thank God that he wasn't stubborn. No? He didn't refer to the nurses as their daughters and their wives, like somebody we know.
You didn't have to say that.
I had to add it because the doctors are still on strike, and the Oga Kwata is talking about his children.
We'll fight police extortion gridlock in Apapa. That's Lagos speaking.
Yeah, Lagos was speaking. The Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Motors, good morning, sir. He said that the government will soon solve the problem of police extortion and gridlock in the Apapa area. I wish I was the one who interviewed him. Because again, he said he would not reveal the details of what the government was doing. But he says that he knows that the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu would not give up on finding solutions to the traffic and other challenges in Apapa. This was in a telephone interview. This is what he said. He said the problem in Apapa is a human-made one. What we are trying to do is join hands with the Nigerian Ports Authority to deploy technology to resolve the matter. Like everything that has human elements, there are bound to be mistakes. He has admitted that. But the state government is not giving up. We are happy to hear that. We are meeting with the MPA tanker drivers and other stakeholders to fashion out a way to tackle the problem. Why it worked for so long and receded again, we need to find out. Then he added, if the policemen are part of the problem, we are going to tackle that through the right authorities. We will hold him to his word. Remind me next week, Friday.
Okay.
Next week, Friday. Let's see how far he has gone. The newspapers will be there to report it.
Okay.
So by the following Tuesday, we'll have him in the studio so he can give us a 1-week report.
Yes, I think it's fair. I think it's fair. Let's take the last story that we have here. Well, we have plenty of stories, but this is the last one we can take. Kanu Ohaneze kicks as IPOB threatens 30-day seat at home.
My reaction to this is very simple. And only those who were around, who knew things that happened in the 70s, will have an inner fear in them. The situation in the Southeast is degenerating. Law and order has almost broken down. Now, this trial going on, which, to my mind, ultimately will demand a political solution. I think the time to look at that political solution is now. Because what I am seeing, the level of arms that you have in private hands in that area, what I'm seeing, I'm gradually, slowly but surely, my mind is going back to the days of police action in 1960, 67 or 68. What turned out to be a Biafran war, believe you me, started like this. It was called police action. Police action meaning that the government was going to deploy, whether security men or whatever, to go arrest Ojukwu. And that never happened. The rest is something that you know. We are inching slowly but surely to that level, where not only has law and order almost broken down, another authority seems to have taken hold of the state, of the region. And so if we know, because I know for sure, without having to look at, whatever it is, that the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, and even indeed the issue of Igboho and these people, is going to end up with a political solution. Why don't we apply it now, if we can?
We have to go now. It's been that type of morning. But what's coming up at 9?
Well, I'm going to talk to the country manager of Virgin Atlantic and also an operator in the UK on this COVID testing and things to give us a clear idea of what it takes to hop on that plane and go to the UK. A lot of people have gotten to the airport and have been completely embarrassed by not knowing the new rules.
Yeah.
So it will be spelled out today at 9 o'clock.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Jimmy.
Thank you.
All right, then. I'm Sheriff. The news is next.
They say, if you want to go fast, go alone. However, if you want to go far...
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.